Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Kev's Movie Corner. I am Kev and this week we are talking about Yankee Doodle Dandy. This movie was released in 1942. It is a biographical musical drama about the life of George M. Cohan, who lived from the 1870s to the 1942. So he died just like 6 months after this movie was released. But he was known as the man who owned Broadway. He was a entertainer, playwright, composer, lyricist, actor, singer, dancer, and theatrical producer in the early 1900s. Writing more than 50 shows, and publishing more than 300 songs during his lifetime. So, lots and lots of things that he did during his time. This film stars James Cagney as George Cohan. You have also his Walter Huston playing his father, Rosemary DeCamp playing his mother, his actual sister, Jeanne Cagney, playing his sister, Joan Leslie playing his wife, Mary, and Richard Whorf playing Sam Harris, who was his co-producer in a lot of those shows, who was Cohan's, played Cohan's co-producer in a lot of those shows. So, this movie starts with one of Cohan's last shows that he was ever in, called I'd Rather Be Right, where he plays President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. It was a Rodgers and Hart musical back in the during World War II. And on the first night of the musical, he gets called to the White House to meet with the president. He's concerned that he's done something wrong because he's imitating the president. And he sits down to start talking with the president and kind of goes... Eventually, he ends up... Almost the whole movie is a flashback. He starts talking about his life story, where starting with him being born on the 4th of July and going through his entire life story of how he grew up, with his family, doing vaudeville shows and becoming Broadway, big time on Broadway, all the shows that he's produced, his life with his... doing shows, working with his family, with his wife, and everything that he's been through. And eventually, it comes back, and the president presents him with, in the movie, it's a Congressional Medal of Honor. In real life, he was actually presented with the Congressional Gold Medal for his contribution to the war effort during World War I. I believe it was during World War I. for his mainly for two songs that he wrote, um, which kind of were like kind of rallied. Yep, contributions to World War One morale. The songs "Your Grand Old Flag" and "Over There." Um, I don't know that I had ever heard "Over There," so I'm not gonna say anything. I've definitely heard "Your Grand Old Flag," and I've definitely heard um, Yankee Doodle Boy, which is from this, which is also something that he wrote. So there's several things in here that I didn't realize this guy had wrote. So, which was interesting because I've never heard of George Cohan. Which there's kind of a part in this movie he that references that where he meets some kids at one point and they don't know who he is, and he decides to come out of retirement and do a play because nobody knows who he is. And they're talking about movies and films and stuff, and he's talking about Broadway plays and musicals. Um, so this was a good movie. I enjoyed this. I like a musical though. I know a lot of people don't like a musical. Um, or some people don't like a musical. This is a lot of music, but this was something that was fun to watch. It is extremely patriotic, which is actually is one of the fun facts that I found about this is that James Cagney actually didn't want to do this film. Um, his brother, who was um, a who was also his manager, I believe. Yeah, or one of the film's producers. So, um, Cagney apparently didn't like Cohen. Cagney was a didn't like Cohen from 1919 during the actor strike when Cohen sided with producers. Um, but in 1940, Cagney was named um, in the he was subpoenaed in the House Committee on Un-American Activities as a possible communist. And his brother basically told him that he'd have to, in order to, not get in trouble, he'd have to make the goddamnedest patriotic picture that he's ever made. Um, and said that would probably be the Cohen story. So, that's that's there you go. So I thought that was interesting. Um, they also kind of changed some. They obviously changed things in this movie to make it kind of flow a little better. Um, Cohan actually was married twice in this movie, or in real life. In the movie, he's only shown to ever be married to Mary, in the one woman. Um, Also, Cohan was he did not like President Roosevelt, and he was a hardcore Republican. Whereas they play him out to be a Democrat in this movie. Um, he says he was a good Democrat in this movie, or Cagney says that he was a good Democrat in this movie to kind of get along with FDR. But Cohen was actually a pretty staunch Republican. He was actually offered the Congressional Gold Medal, I guess, several years before he actually got it in 1940, but put it off because he didn't want to meet FDR. Um, he ended up meeting FDR during a visit to D.C. to practice for his last show, one of his last plays that he ever performed in. So, and then he died just again 2 years later. So, but yeah, I thought this was a really good movie. Again, extremely patriotic. So if you want a patriotic film, this is something to watch on the 4th of July for sure. Because it's a bunch of patriotic music, patriotic views, flag waving, everything, all about it. It's just over 2 hours. It's 2 hours and 6 minutes long, so but it goes pretty quick. And it's just kind of like I said, it's just kind of a big flashback, and it's just kind of fun. Like there's a little bit of drama in it. There's some comedy in it. It's kind of it's just kind of fun. A lot of singing and dancing, but it's all done very well for you know the time, 1942. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Um, I don't think there was anything. I know James Cagney. This did get a couple Academy Awards. It won 3 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. I believe Cagney won for Best Actor as well, and I think he got um, Best Actor in a Leading Role and Best uh, Music, Best Scoring of a Musical Picture. Um, it was nominated for several others as well, including Best Picture and Best Actor in a Supporting Role, but it didn't win those ones. So it did pretty well critically. Um, it made about $6.5 million on its $1.5 million budget, so it did pretty well overall. Um, but yeah, it and most of the music was done obviously by George Cohan, because it's talking about his life. So a good majority of the music was his songs and his musicals. So that was something that was interesting. He actually did um, uh, what's the word? Consult on this movie. He was able to see the end of it and gave a glowing review of it before he passed a few months later. Um, and which, if you get a pretty glowing review from the guy who made it, then I think, that's not always a good thing, but it's, it, you know, it doesn't always hurt either when you're trying to, make something. So it just kind of depends on, there's a little bit more that goes into it than just that. So it kind of depends. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed this. Uh, I would recommend it again, like 4th of July, just Memorial Day. Like, it's something that's, I know we're a little bit past both of those now, but, it's definitely something that, that's for sure good to watch on those, because, like I said, this is one of the more patriotic films that I've ever seen in my life. So, um, I think that is it, though, for this. Like, and that means we're done. We made it through all 100 movies. All 100 movies. I don't even know what. Well, I do know what we're going to do. Um, we're. So this. We're going to make some changes. Well, we're not going to make a big changes. Um, Nikki's going to start joining us, which is going to be interesting because she hasn't seen any movies, so that's going to be fun. Um, and we're going to start doing some series, some like different franchises. So next week, I think we're going to start with Harry Potter. So we're going to start with the first Harry Potter film, The Sorcerer's Stone, and we're going to work our way through all of those. And since she's never seen them, and we're going to watch all of those, and we're going to see how that goes. And then we might pick a different one and we'll go through those. So hopefully you guys will stick around for those. I can't believe we've done 100 of these movies. Well, we've done more than 100 movies because we did other ones too, but I can't believe I got through this entire list. It's been, you know, a couple years in the making, but that's, you know, it's been fun to watch all of them. It's been an interesting journey. So I hope you guys will stay with me for the future and enjoy the what comes next. So don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and I will be back soon with Nikki to talk to you guys about Harry Potter. So yeah, we'll talk to you then.